My speech will be beginning in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, and members of the opposition team, good morning. Today, as the second speaker of the proposition, I stand firmly to answer a vital question. Should Latin America prioritize economic ties with Asia? The answer is a resounding yes. Strengthening our connection with Asia is not just an opportunity, it's a necessity. It's the key to creating more jobs, securing economic stability, and building a brighter future for everyone in our region. My role today is to consolidate the previous points stated by and laid by our first speaker, and I will introduce newer layers of analysis to reinforce our points. I respectfully will also be exposing why the opposition stance is both unsustainable and contrary to Latin America's long-term interests. I'll be discussing today how Latin America commodities align with Asia's needs, how Asia offers infrastructure investments that the West can definitely not match, and finally, how the West is losing influence in the whole global South. To begin with, I can confidently cite that Latin America is rich in natural resources such as minerals like copper, gold, oil, soybean, and lithium. The very resources that Asia, particularly China and India, require to sustain their industrial growth. The lithium triangle, which is composed of Argentina, Bolivia, and Chile, holds over 50% of the world's lithium reserves. Lithium is essential for batteries, electric vehicles, and renewable energy systems, industries in which Asia leads globally. And China is already the largest buyers of soybeans from Brazil and Argentina. The demand for food imports in Asia is expected to grow. No, thank you. Is expected to grow as populations rise and diet shifts. By strengthening ties with Asia, Latin America can capitalize on this synergy, securing a stable market for its exports while attracting foreign investments in resources, attractions, and processing. The West, by comparison, has limited demand for such commodities due to its slowing industrial growth and shifts toward services. To sum up, Latin America's wealth of natural resources position it perfectly to meet the growing demand of Asia's industrial powerhouse. By deepening economic ties with Asia, Latin America can secure a reliable market for its exports, attracting essential foreign investment and ensure long-term economic stability. While the West's demand for such resources is declining, Asia's thirst for these critical commodities will only continue to rise, making this partnership vital for Latin America's future prosperity. In continuation of my speech, I'll say that Asia, through initiatives like China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, has already invested billions in Latin America infrastructure. Projects include ports, railways, and renewable energy facilities. Yes, please.
Where there is a point to invest more if Argentina and Brazil, countries like that, are all starting to pay debt? They're all starting to pay those loans, and why is the point to give more loans? If you're saying that, all you're saying is in the status quo.
Like you're saying, it's just useless to do investments in Latin America. I think that's what you're saying. Right?
You can reply. You need to continue. Don't give another view.
Latin America infrastructure projects include ports, railways, and renewable energy facilities, all of which are critical for Latin America's long-term development. A perfect example for this point is the construction of ports in Peru and Ecuador by Chinese companies, has boosted trade efficiency and strengthened export capacity. Those projects has done way more than just improving logistics. It has revolutionized the ability of these countries to engage with global markets, particularly Asia. As the previous speaker of the opposition team said, who would accept my POI respectfully, stated that Latin America might face debt traps in the future by cooperating with China. Well, debt issues arise when governments mismatch funds and or fail to diversify their economies, not because of Asia's investments inherently. Many Latin American countries such as Brazil and Chile have successfully partnered with China for infrastructure without falling into debt crisis. In conclusion of my argument, Asian investments are not a threat, but an opportunity. With responsible management, they can drive Latin America growth, modernize infrastructure, and secure our place in the global economy. Ignoring these opportunities risks leaving our region behind while the rest of the world moves forward. And the last assertion of my speech how the West is already losing influence in the whole global South. Latin America is not the only region shifting its focus towards Asia. Africa, Southeast Asia, and even parts of Eastern Europe are aligning with Asian economies because of their reliability, growth potential, like the first speaker of the proposition said. If Latin America clings to the West, while the rest of the global South shifts toward Asia, it risks being left behind in the new global economic order. Latin America must choose the right choice to be part of the future, not the past. Take Africa, for example. Many nations